How are we doing, guys? Always to be Leeds versus Barnsley, match preview of the game. So guys, this is a tough game. Let's make no mistake about it, this is a tough game. We've still got a lot of work to do. Yes, I don't really care what Brentford and West Brom are doing. It's all on us now. 4 points from 3 games is what we need, but nothing's a given at this level. We've got to stay focused and respect what we've got to do. We've still got work to do. Let's not move away from that. We've still got work to do ourselves. I don't get too overexcited. We've got to do the job ourselves. That's the end of the day. Feet on the ground. There's nothing is ever a given at this level. So this Barnsley game, for me, I look at Barnsley as a very, very good high pressing team. Very good at pressing high. Very athletic and got a lot of threat in transition, especially in terms of Connor Chaplin, who I think's a very underrated striker at this level. So we've got to be aware of that. Barnsley are good at what they do. They're good at head pressing high. They're a massive threat in transition, as I've already said. In open play, yes, you can have question marks over them. Do they have a lot of creativity in the team? Maybe not. But they are a threat in that phase of play. In terms of pressing high, winning the ball up high up the pitch, they are good at doing that. And that's potentially, with KP missing, something they can target us with. With KP missing, we haven't got that natural holding midfielder playing in there. There's no Adam Forshaw available. Matej Klich, we already know, isn't going to drop into that position. He's going to still play as a number 8. So we've got to be aware of that. Ben White's going to go in there. I thought he did really well his last game in there against Huddersfield. Other games, maybe you've not quite seen the same Ben White we do at centre-back, but hopefully we're going to get a Huddersfield-like performance from Ben White in that position. But it's not just on Ben White in that position. You need to players around him to help out, because what Barnsley will probably target will be Ben White playing that position. Not because Ben White's a bad player, but because they know it's a completely different position. Going from centre-back to centre-hold midfield is not something that's very common in football. It's not something that's common in football, and that's a fact. Maybe going from holding midfield to centre-back is a bit more common, but holding midfield is a much more complicated role in today's modern game, because a lot of the play is happening behind Ben White from that holding midfield position, because a lot of the time it'd be a number 10 drifting in behind him. So he's got to be aware of that. He's going to probably have a lot less time on the ball, playing as a single pivot. So he's got to make sure that people ahead of him are making runs. Helder Costa, Jack Harrison. When it's becoming a bit congested, when Barnsley are getting on top of us with the press, we've got to make sure there's outlets out there. So Ben White, because we all know how good Ben White's long-range passing is, Ben White has got targets then. He can release the ball long to Costa, to Harrison to run onto, Bamford to run onto. We've got to make sure we've got that movement. Because against Swansea, I've already said it, I wasn't particularly amazed by the performance against Swansea. It was well below our standards, but we got the result. It wasn't a particularly good game. But we've got to make sure we're making a lot more runs than we did against Swansea. We've got to make sure we're getting in behind and really stretching Barnsley. Because, I've said Barnsley are great at pressing high, but other elements of the game is not great. The other elements of the game isn't particularly strong. Defensively, I don't think they're particularly great, particularly against pace. Look at people like Apo Halm. Against pace, these players will struggle. So we've got to make sure that we're making runs behind them, we're stretching the pitch, we're making the pitch as big as possible in the final third. We're really stretching them, and that's key. I think for me, personally, I want to see Pablo coming into the team, starting from the off in this game. I just look at Pablo and think we need that bit more control in midfield. I think the last couple of games we've not quite had that control until Pablo's come onto the pitch. I think especially with Calvin missing, I think Connor's already alluded to this. You want someone in there. You want some more experience. If Calvin can't play in his main position, let's make sure our number 8's our most experienced players. Matej Klich, Pablo Hernandez. That's for me would be what I'd go with. Ben White holding midfield with Matej Klich, Pablo Hernandez in front of him. Matej Klich can help out in the defensive parts of the game. Pablo can help it in terms of the transitional threat. So for me, that's what I'd do. Nothing against Tyler Roberts. You all know how big a fan of Tyler Roberts I am. But for me, I'd just go with that bit more experience just to help Ben White through this game. It's his first game in a while in that holding midfield position. Barnsley will probably target it. That's reality. Whether they're right or wrong to do that, I'm not sure, because we know Ben White can perform in that position. Just maybe not quite the same consistency he has at centre-back. For me, Berra coming in isn't a problem. No problem at all with Berra coming in. I think whenever he's filled in, he's done a top job. I think he really has. Of course, he's not played to the standard of Ben White and Liam Cooper, but by no means does that mean he's not done well. He's done really well. He's just been outshone by 2 really, really good centre-backs. I think Berardi and Cooper's worked whenever Ben White's had to go to hold midfield before. He's just got to make sure that we use that ball well. With no loose touches, no heavy touches, no inviting the press from Barnsley. Let's just make sure we're nice and neat and tidy, cute on the ball, turning, just making things happen, and not playing the ball around the back too much. We've got to make sure. I know it's our traditional style, but for me, I'd like to see us try and progress the ball a bit quicker, particularly because Barnsley is so high pressing. I don't want us to be inviting opportunities for Barnsley's pressers, because their main attacking threat is coming from those situations. It's not coming from open play so much. I'm not saying they can't create from open play. You've got people like Alex Mowat in the team. They can create from open play, but mainly their main threat against us is winning that ball high up the pitch and catching Luke Ayling, Stuart Dallas out of position and getting a 3-on-2 situation against our centre-back. So we've got to make sure we're nice and neat with our passing. That's the main thing. Because I think as long as we do that, we're progressing well out of that first third, I think we'll create chances in this game. I don't think Barnsley is strong at the back. They don't really have much defensive coverage in the team. I think they've got one holding midfielder to play with, a single pivot. It's tended to be like pretty much a 4-4-2 diamond from Barnsley the last couple of games, with Alex Mowat sitting deeper there. And we all know Alex Mowat isn't a natural holding midfielder. He's a threat on the ball, but off the ball, does he have the discipline to play that role? I'm not sure. Hopefully we can get some passes in behind him, and that's what we need, just to make sure we're a bit more direct, a bit more like Stoke, a bit more like the Blackburn game. I just thought a lot of our play against Swansea, yes, I know we won the game. I know we won the game, guys. I know we won the game. But it's a different threat, this game. It's a totally different kind of game. I don't think Barnsley had the same open play threat as Swansea did. Conor Gallagher, Jordan Knight, Andre Ayew, etc., creating things, making things happen. I just think we've got to be a bit more direct, a bit more stretching the pitch, making it as difficult as possible for Barnsley to press us, and trying to tire Barnsley out to an extent. Let's remember that too. But I think set pieces, counter-attacks is Barnsley's main threat against us. Not saying they can't create from other methods of creation, but for me, that's the two main threats from them. I think as long as our wingers are on it, Costa and Harrison are absolutely on it, I think we can definitely create chances. Got options off the bench as well, potentially as well. Saying about progressing play out of the first third, I think maybe Barry Douglas becomes an option in this game. If the first half doesn't go so well, like it did against Swansea, potentially we can bring Barry Douglas onto the pitch. We know how good the passer of the ball Barry Douglas is. If we are struggling to keep the ball, we've got options on the pitch. People like Jamie Shackleton as well. Plenty of options there. We used them against Swansea. We used our subs to great effect, I thought, against Swansea. It completely changed the dynamic of the game. We brought Alioski on. Again, Alioski, another option. So we've got plenty of options, guys. For me, I would start with Pablo in this game. Let us know in the comments down below. I would change things a little bit, for that reason, just to help Ben White out a little bit. Just make sure we keep the ball a bit better. There's less work for Ben White to do. Because it's such a different position, guys. It's such a different position. It's so rare for a centre-back to become a holding midfielder in today's game. It's more common for a holding midfielder to become a centre-back, but as a holding midfielder, it's such a different job. He's going to have things happening behind him all the time. He's going to have a number 10 running in behind him. Maybe one of the wingers might drift inside. He's got to be aware of that all the time, what's going on behind him. As a centre-back, it's what's happening ahead of him. As a holding midfielder, it's going to be what's happening behind him. So it's a totally different threat from that point of view. I think on the ball, he'll have a lot less time. But hopefully he'll be able to showcase his long-range passing a little bit more as well. So for me, it's a blow having Calvin missing, but we do have options. If the Ben White experiment doesn't go well in the first half, we can change things around. We can play Click deeper, move Shackleton into the team, Roberts, Hernandez, etc., etc. We've got loads of options, guys. We've got loads of options, but do not underestimate this Barnsley team. Do not underestimate them. I know they're in the bottom three. Under Gerhard Struber, I think their form has improved quite a lot since he's took over. Because before he took over, they had absolutely no hope of surviving. They're looking at being down with 5 or 6 games to go. So let's not underestimate Barnsley. They do have a lot of threat, and if we don't play to our best in terms of out the back, if we're loose, sloppy passing, we're not quite on it from the first minute, we do invite a threat from Barnsley. But if you look at our quality, if you look at how we've played since the lockdown, how we've played over the whole season, we've got to go into this game with confidence, guys, but not overconfidence. Let's not go in this with overconfidence. Let's not talk about when we could get promoted. I'm not interested about that right now. All the focus is on Barnsley. Forget promotion, Barnsley. That is the focus. This game, We've got to do the job in that game. We've got to improve from what we did against Swansea. I'm pretty confident we will. Certainly from what Marcelo Bielsa says, he wasn't happy with that performance at all against Swansea. And normally when that happens, the team just goes up that next level. You know, it's the mentality we have. We've got to show those standards. We've got to maintain those standards. But guys, yeah, I feel confident, but not overconfident, guys. You know, we've still got to do a job. We've still got to get those 4 points that will get us over the line. But guys, gonna leave it there anyway. Quite a low-key one from me, but to be honest, guys, it's just all about enjoying it. You know, enjoying the game by game, and what will be, you know, at the end of the season. So, guys, I'm gonna leave it there anyway. Make sure you check out Connor and Joe's previews of the game, and of course, the watch along will be back. I still don't think my voice is recovered from that one. Oh, it's brilliant. The Swansea one is brilliant, guys. If you haven't seen it already, check it out. But we will be back with another watch along for tomorrow's game against Barnsley. So, guys, I'm going to leave it there anyway. I've been Oscar Marriott. See you later, guys.